So you actually you reached out on one of our comments here, and you had some comments about Cutter Boley, who's transferred to ASU. We had in that segment we hadn't heard too much about him. We saw a couple highlight reels where we saw some passes that were kind of iffy. At the same time, our coach at ASU, I live in Arizona, and I actually went to ASU. Um, but our coach, when we were losing Levitt to the transfer portal, he said specifically like, "Oh yeah, we got our guy. We're good." Like he was saying it so emphatically. It sounded like he got like a 5 star like Bryce Underwood or something. Like he was acting like he had this
No,
guy, and then it turned
yeah.
out.
See, well, one of my, I'll just tell you, one of my subscribers is Cutter Boley's auntie,
Mm-hmm,
and she was telling me, hey, she emailed me and said, don't say this, but well, we knew he was going to leave, but Arizona State is where he's going to go because they're offering him a lot of money. And I was like, okay, I won't tell you. And it turned out 3 weeks later. So yeah, it was set up. Whenever before Will Stein ever set foot here, people were trying to say Will Stein ran him off, and
mm-hmm.
God, come on, guys. No, you offered him about $1 million more than we did. So he took it. Hey, look, he's not tailored for that power spread. He's not going to run. If we can get into that in a little bit, and I can tell you all about him. And so whatever you want to know.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, I think we do want to dive into. I want to continue down this narrative that Chase was putting
Sure.
down, just really quick, because this
Okay.
is why I'm confused, and maybe this is where you can help me and Chase and our audience. So
Sure.
yeah, Dillingham says we've got our guy, right? And at the time there were rumors about Bryce Underwood that he was going to Arizona and that they were going to sign him. They've also got a 4 star coming in, Jake Fett. So in our minds, it's got to be, hey, this has got to be a junior or a
Oh,
senior.
yeah.
Give Jake Fett a little bit of time, bring in this guy who's got experience, who's got it going on, proven, and then we hear Cutter. And first thing is you go to stats.
What?
I haven't
What?
watched as much Kentucky, right? So I look at
I'll
stats.
say
Like his stats don't look good. His record
no,
isn't good, right? So
no.
why is Dillingham screaming, "We got our guy"
Well,
when
here's
this
I
one?
can tell you real quick. You're paying for what Cutter Boley is going his potential. You're not paying for what he is now because we it was the same thing 2 years ago. He started 2 games, one at Texas in 2024, played pretty well, and then he played Louisville and got smacked the last game of 2024. So we brought in Zach Calzada because we said we're going to sit him down for a year, and this is going to be a gap year for him. He was not supposed to play this year. He was not number one in the spring. He was not number one in the summer. So we come out of going into the first and second game. Zach Calzada is going to be our quarterback. Cutter Boley's going to learn from him, learn Bush Hamden, who was at Boise State, and his system. It didn't work out that way. Zach Calzada didn't play well. And then the last Ole Miss, you get to the fourth quarter, he gets hurt. Cutter comes in. And then after that, people are just like, look, Zach Calzada's no better than Cutter Boley. So why don't we just play this kid? He's a Kentucky kid. So there we had a bye after the second game. We were playing Eastern Michigan the third game. So they decided, Mark Stoops said, well, since these guys are so close, let's just start Cutter. And then we started him. Okay. So Eastern Michigan, easy. If you look at his numbers, guys, you can bring him up. Then he starts at Eastern Michigan, easy game, throws 12 for 20. Okay, but then he goes to South Carolina. So he goes on the road. Okay, now he's only played in two or three games. Um, it took him a while to learn how to to digest the offense. First of all, it took him a while to make the throws. It started out at the beginning of the year. First of all, let me stop right there and say we had no receivers. Okay, we had a slot receiver and a tight end that could catch the ball. We had guys at the X receiver and the Y receiver that couldn't catch if you hit them right in their hands. There's a problem right there. Okay, we had the worst receivers. We were going to run the ball and play defense. We're trying to win 16-13, 2017. Cutter's not going to have to do much, but as the year went on, if you look at his numbers, he couldn't make sideline throws because our play-by-play guy is a play-by-play guy for Cincinnati Bengals, and he played at Kentucky. And he's saying, okay, now he's having problems with sideline throws. So I'm listening to this guy because he's smart. Uh, and then, okay, then he picked up sideline throws. So as the year went on, if you look at his numbers, when we get to Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida, well, he's completing 31 of 39, 26 of 35, 80%, 75%, 80%. So He's starting to make sideline throws. Now the deep ball, he can't. Okay, so he starts working on that. So he is stair stepping his way and becoming a decent quarterback, despite our awful receiving core.
That's definitely good to hear because obviously just straight from and obviously stats never paint the full picture. You can look at the stats at the
No,
end of the game. It's never going to tell you exactly what happened. When we first heard it, obviously it was very weird because of obviously how they spelt it out. But to hear that he
right.
has definitely a higher ceiling, that's definitely good to hear because honestly, Cam Levitt did not play that great for us. I mean, he only played half the season because of his injury, but he did not play that well. I mean, I watched him. Chance and I watched him in the NAU game. He did not look good against NAU at all. Then Mississippi State
Mississippi
looked like a
State.
joke.
Oh,
Baylor, he was getting it done on his feet, but his accuracy on the medium to long range was looking not good. Then in the TCU game was the first game that I saw him actually what I thought was him playing to his potential, and he played really well. And then obviously his injuries took over, and he stopped playing a lot in games. He did play in the Tech game, but outside of that, I wasn't seeing too much from Levitt himself. Obviously now I get to experience it again at LSU, similar to how Jaden Daniels
Hey,
was. But I am
yeah.
curious how that transition is going to be from Sam Levitt to Cutter Boley because you said he's not very mobile, but he can get things
He,
done with his feet.
he can scramble. He cannot run. He's not going to run. He's a pocket passer. That's why the power, Will Stein option spread or power spread or whatever you want to call it. You have to have a quarterback who can run,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not a rusher. He's gonna run when he has to, but he's not fast. Now he's what 6'2", 6'5", 220.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to feel. I feel like he needs to buck up a little bit. But no, he's definitely not a runner. He's a pocket. If you let him work out of the pocket, he's going to be good. The last two games, guys, Vanderbilt and Louisville, throw those out. Okay, we quit in the Louisville game. That last game, nobody wanted to be there. It was November 30th. It was cold. They jumped on us 14-0. Our guys just quit on Cutter, and then he throws two interceptions. And of course, some of these games we're so far behind. Vanderbilt 45-17 and it's 35-0. So he just lays it up there, and our receivers can't outfight anybody. A lot of those interceptions were, well, I say a third of those were our guys just let the defensive back get position, or he just had to force it because we're down 35-7 or
I
whatever.
was
So,
curious about
but
that
if
because I watched that Florida game and you guys dominated Florida, just embarrassed them. And then what was it like 2 weeks later, the Louisville, and I was like, how did you go from blowing out Florida to getting embarrassed by Louisville? I did not understand.
because our okay, here's what happened. Our portal players, a lot of them were 1 year players, and they were going to get paid. And once we started losing, they just quit, especially on defense. You just saw it. I saw it on tape. I was listening to a play-by-play guy. If you watch that tape back from the Louisville game, our offensive linemen, who are every one of them were 1 year players, just quit, and they let them rush Cutter, and they didn't give him a chance. And believe me, we're all upset about it. But look, they're going to get paid. That's the bad part about NIL is they get paid no matter what. So these guys just quit on him in that Louisville game, and it was not. He threw two picks. I mean, look, he was just trying to do anything because it was 41-0. I mean, they were up 28-0 just like that. I mean, bam, and then our guys were like, you know what? We're just gonna quit. We're gonna get paid. So it was sad to see that, and that cost Mark Stoops his job.
Yeah,
So there you go.
that's definitely unfortunate to see. That explains it a lot more because I was really surprised at those scores, the differential in like 2 weeks.